Welcome back to the Alicia Show. I cannot tell you how excited I am to have our guest today. We have been in each other's lives for 3 years now, and I have been asking her to come on to the show for quite some time because she is amazing to me. She has a I didn't realize I was going to tear up so quickly, but she has a place in my heart because of the journey that we have gone through together. And I am just super, super happy to have her on my virtual couch to share. So, Karen, will you tell?
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for opening up your virtual life and couch and inviting me to come have a chat.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Will you tell the listeners who you are and what you do?
Yes. Oh, thank you. So I'm Karen Noel, and I help people in business figure out their money. And that's the name of my website, figureoutmoney.org. I'm in my previous life, I was an accountant for many decades. And after figuring out what I'd like to do next and working with a business coach in my past, I knew in some way I wanted to marry the accounting with coaching.
Yes.
I did get my coaching certificate and have been practicing for many years, but I knew I wanted to fine tune a program to really help people find their own money flow. So I was in this course to help me put it together, and there was Alicia. She was in my course. And oh my God, you just inspired me. You probably didn't feel inspirational, but our course was online. Of course, I'm way on the West Coast, US, and you're in the UK. So for me, it was in the morning, maybe, I don't know, maybe it was noon, I don't know. But
Yes.
you were like in a lounge chair in your jammies and your
Do
notes.
you
And
remember?
I remember because I was watching you, because you introduced yourself, Alicia, your business, Alicia Lifestyle. And I'll tell you, I had my own accounting company.
Hmm.
It's sort of, I mean, it evolved around me. I didn't go
Hmm.
out to find it. It started happening and I grabbed it. I saw the opportunity and I grabbed it. Anyway, and it grew and it grew and it grew. But what I ended up doing was working 20 hours a day. I
Hmm.
moved my business to my home. I had an 8-year-old at this moment as the business grew. I'm just
Hmm.
one moment here when my daughter was 8. And I worked almost 20 hours a day. I barely slept. I
Wow.
know. And we bought all our food. We had all our food put, I mean, we didn't have any focus on the lifestyle in
Yeah.
our home because I got so focused on the work.
Mm.
And we can talk about more later of why I did that. But what I met was the person, my next teacher, which is Alicia, because I knew I wanted to start this coaching business, but I didn't want to go down the same road. I
Yes.
knew I needed to learn about lifestyle. I needed to learn about feeding myself, moving myself healthily around the world, just how to assess how am I doing, which is a big jump from working 20 hours a day
Hmm.
to learning how to check in with yourself. And it's taken us some time. And I do
Yes.
not think that's your fault. I don't think it's my fault. There's no fault. It's
No.
been the most joyful journey.
Yes.
I've had this vision, this seed in me for a long time about what I wanted to do, what I wanted to develop, what I wanted to provide to people in business. And I'm thinking really about the solopreneur, an
Yeah.
entrepreneur who's there by themselves and not quite sure what to do with the bank statement and all the receipts and all that. That up to customers who are just going next level and we're
Yeah.
scaling. And we need our budgets and our numbers to turn and see what they look like and what do we need and all that. So by working with Alicia, I was able to really, really quiet the noise in my life, which ended up
Mm.
being a lot of trauma, physical,
Hmm.
past memories I had shut out,
Hmm.
and really embrace what's here while I work through that with professionals.
Yes.
And what's evolving is the expression of me,
Mhm.
the expression of me being a well balanced person on most days, not
Yes.
all days, and being a really my business is about expressing my joy. My gift is numbers.
Yes.
I seem to have arrived on the planet understanding numbers. And
Hmm.
so it's quick and easy for me to put something together. And I love working with people so they have their aha moment about, oh, I get it. Let's move on. And then they're back on what they're good
Yeah.
to. Your gift is, oh my gosh, implementation and really receiving.
Mm.
I don't know. I'll just say for me, receiving what I'm sharing and then somehow giving extra words that make sense to me. So I'm here. I really showed up to celebrate Alicia today.
Oh.
I did. And to just shout out, I mean, to listen to your body of work, your podcasts, a person could really get, when I say get, understand who you are, what you're up to. If they hired you as a coach, what it would be like. You are you. This is, you are truth. You are authentic. I also just wanted to show up and ring a bell a little bit and just say, if there's anyone out there just stuck, let's say it could be so simply stuck, have
Mm.
an idea, have a life's purpose that have been growing in me for decades now, and want a implementation coach, a lifestyle coach, a very, very special person, a voice in your life to encourage and steer you. It's consulting and coaching. It's a magnificent process. I still work with Alicia. You know, life is never over. As soon as we achieve what we're going for, I think you and I kind of take a little break, like
Yes.
inorganic. We're like, okay, we've completed this.
Yeah.
And then I'm got another idea and let's go. And it's just so much fun to work together. I don't look at our meetings with Alicia as, oh, I need a professional help to get me through this. This is like, come on, let's play. It's way more fun. It is so much fun
Oh,
when we are working together. It is the joy that gets created that I get to take into my clients' work too. So thank you for helping me stay plugged into me. That's what you do. Oh,
I'm speechless because I did not know that was coming. And so you know how much I love my work. But to hear you articulate it in such a manner, wow, you've made me emotional.
I I didn't mean to surprise you. I know we're going to talk more about helping your listeners with their budgets and their money intentions, but I didn't want this moment to go by to also let your listeners know that there are real life people you work one on one with and changed my life. My actual mindset is transformed and focused now on the gift I want to put on the world. You helped me do that. You led the way.
But you did the work.
I
So,
do the work. Yeah,
yeah.
it's collaboration.
Yes.
However, it is. However, I just can barely describe the connection I get after working with you, during working with you. When I say after, I don't mean after a 12-week, okay, we're going to launch this project. I mean, we hang up and I'm like, holy cow, I know what to do, how to do it, and when to have it posted by. And things move forward and the magic shows up. And there isn't much words. There aren't many words. Let me say it better.
Mm.
There are not many words to describe the magic that happens when one works with Alicia Harris. It fills the room. You can touch it. You can feel it beat. It's alive.
I'm not very good at receiving, Karen, but I'm going to just sit down and receive everything that you just said
Thank you.
because I put my heart and soul into the work that I do. All of my clients are really important to me. And we've been through a journey together.
We
We've seen,
have.
we've seen a lot of changes. We have hit some amazing goals. You are a star client because you take action. And for me, that is so, so important in this collaboration because I'm here to hold the space, but you have to do the work. But every single thing that we have put down on paper, because we create a plan, right?
We do.
Single thing that we have put down on paper, you have achieved and beyond. Okay.
Ah, my turn to receive. I hadn't really, it's
So,
absolutely true and beyond.
and beyond. I mean, if you receive my newsletters, you would have heard about 9K in a day, Karen. This is Karen.
It's
When
me.
Karen,
Hi,
yeah,
everybody.
when
9K Karen.
yeah, 9K Karen. That's what I'm going to call you from now on. This is 9K Karen because once we got really quiet and we dealt with well-being, you got clarity. And then you had multiple 9 days. We're not just talking about one. You have
No.
had multiple 9 days. The
Yes.
house that you're sitting in, you manifested. That was one of the
Yes.
first things we discussed. You told me what you wanted, and I said to you, how are you going to get that, Karen? And you told me exactly how you were going to get it. And it took you 18 months.
Yes. I had the dream to live at the beach since I was 6 years old. I remember the first time running on the beach with my family, and oh, I just couldn't imagine why everybody didn't live there. And that is, I still I'm not only living at the beach, I look at the ocean and I'm beachfront. That was not on our paper. I was just like too big for me to think was real for me.
Yes.
But what got manifested was a beachfront place that I still pinch myself. I
Yes.
still pinch myself. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There is something so powerful with writing down our intentions. And Alicia has this beautiful, everything about Alicia is beautiful, first of all. I'm beautiful. I'm not saying I'm not beautiful. I'm saying her forms are all beautiful. I'm spreadsheet. Give me your numbers. I'll make you a graph at the end, but I don't know. You have artistic flow. We're kind of yin and yang that way, but I love receiving your worksheet to set a new intention. It's everything. If we're just getting up and like let the day throw us around, nothing is going to happen that is in my 6-year-old heart
Yes.
dream. Like having a beachfront condo was not going to happen unless I put it down. And I didn't put down beachfront because I was too afraid it wouldn't happen. I guess I
Right.
didn't have a thought about it, but right now I'm wondering if that's why I didn't put down beachfront. But I just want to challenge everybody. Write down today while you're listening to this. Don't, if you're driving, don't write it down. But when you write down something that it's time to welcome to your life.
Yes.
Many things happened in order for me to get here. Many things happened that were not on my plan. I just
Mhm.
knew where I'd start and walk. But something very powerful happens when we write down an intention
Mhm.
and then we have it somewhere, have a reminder somewhere. We don't have to look at the intention, but sometimes I put on a special bracelet that's
Yes.
intention, this is going to remind me today, this bracelet, or a bow on my briefcase, something that this is a new focus I want.
I love
And
that.
then I just let it go. And I don't let it go and forget about it. I let it go and let the universe figure out how to support me. But
Yes.
I keep taking action steps towards it. I'll talk to people, I'll keep it alive. It manifests. That's all that I can say is when I work on writing an intention as you present it, and then we continue meeting weekly and we keep it alive and we take the next step and the next step. And it never ends up, we never end up where we thought we were going,
No.
first of all, but it's always better. It's
Yes.
always better. It's always beachfront. When I didn't write down beachfront, I would be okay by the little store and the little apartments down the road. I could walk, that would all be
Yeah.
fine with me. But look at what showed up.
Because you
And
were
this was
ready.
what I'm sorry. This was just one place. I didn't have 10 places to choose from. This was one place quietly became available.
But
Anyway, so
but
much
but
magic. I just unexplainable. Oh, go ahead, please.
yeah, but that's because you wanted it deep down in your heart of hearts. You wanted beachfront.
I did.
So even though when we put it down on our action plan and you said the beach, you wanted beachfront. And so the universe, God,
Right.
whomever you ask, presented that for you, made it happen for you because that's what you wanted. And so that's what we did. We took small action steps to get you there. And like you said, it didn't always go to according to plan, but we knew what we wanted.
Yes. And we knew we were moving forward.
Mhm.
It never feels quick enough for me. Never. I always want what we're working for last week.
Yeah.
But I'm lightening up on myself. I find that a value in working with you too, is my inner world, my thoughts, my mindset has softened so much since we've slowed down and really started to look at what parts of my life work for me and what parts of my life are sabotaging me.
Yeah.
And all
Oh, Karen.
those were hard choices when we looked at those choices
Mm-hmm.
too. Not all people in my life had my back. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And as we started to look at it, boy, an episode showed up where I'm going to tell you, I was, what word do we want to use? I was attacked by this person. I will say that. And it was devastating to go through. I remember one call with Alicia. I also have PTSD, just to share with the listeners. And this event triggered something that had me literally crying for almost a week. And one of our calls was during that time. And I don't know how I would, I guess I could do it now that I've been through it. But Alicia, you are always prepared for whatever I bring to the call. And I never would dream that I would bring a hysterical crying. I can't stop crying. This horrible thing just happened to me. I'm in shock because it was a friend of years. How do you make so? And Alicia sat with me. I don't know that we said 10 words, but it was a big moment of healing because you accepted me right where I am. There's not a lot of that in the world right now.
You're right. There isn't.
And I was suffering. You just accepted me and some inner strength supported me. Go ahead. I don't know what, tell me what it was like for you to be with, I mean, you must have felt my pain. You're so empathic.
For me, and I'm being deadly serious here, Karen, I
Yeah.
would have wanted someone to hold the space for me.
Yeah.
And that's all I came with. I saw you were suffering. I knew that I couldn't help any other way but just to be there for you. And so that's what I did. I didn't want you to be alone at that time. And so we sat, and when you were ready, you said, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay. And I asked if there's anybody with you, and you said there was people that you could have around, and you said that you would get some additional help
Yeah.
because I'm not a therapist and I'm not a specialist. And that's what you did. But in that moment, I could not have just said to you, okay, then let's reschedule. Goodbye. I couldn't have
Yeah.
done that.
But what I'm noticing, what I want to acknowledge, what I remember is in when someone is in experiencing intense suffering. I mean, you made the space for me. It's so easy to gently send a person away and just say, oh my gosh, or you would have stayed all day with me, I believe, if I needed it. Like,
I would have.
so what I want to acknowledge is that was one of the most brutal moments, brutal feelings, emotional experiences I've ever walked through. And your strength and poise and the dignity you reflected back to me, that it was really the first time I was aware of being a victim. Like, oh my gosh, I'm a victim. Like, I've really been victimized. That moment wanted to grab all my low self-esteem, all the things that we had walked through. I'm too small to do this, fears I had, all the things. This would, I wouldn't have wanted to share this with anyone except it was our appointment. And I so it's not like, but so I just was like on this routine, and there you were receiving me every time since. It was like you made it. This is it. I got the words. You always make me feel like I have a place in this world, and you always make me feel like what I have to offer is needed.
Because it
And
is.
there's many, many parts of the day that I lose contact with both those beliefs. And today there's so many reminders in my world, like actual clients who call me and I'm like, okay, it's really happening. But there's a part of me that still hurts so much from childhood, from anything, everything,
Mm-hmm.
every life, right? We all have it. We all have the lessons. And I
Yeah.
just want you to know, and I want other people to know that as far as selecting a coach, holy cow, did I hit the jackpot? No regrets. If there's anyone out there who's ready or in the future ready, this is a coach of magnificent proportion. She held me on my hardest day of my life as I was coming out of shock. And she tells me the truth every time. Every time we meet, you tell
I've
me
got
the truth.
to. I've got to. And I do that with love. And I think whilst you
Oh
were
yeah.
speaking, you asked, how did I have the strength to hold you? And I think I've been through a lot of hurt and pain. I've had people who I thought I could trust hurt me. I lost a parent, I lost my dear mum. And so I know how it feels to be heartbroken and hurt. And I know how I would want to be treated in those times. And so for me, it comes naturally. It wasn't that I was having to think about it when you turn up. It was, oh my goodness, Karen needs more than a coach today. She needs more than consultancy. She
Right.
needs more than a implementation person telling her what still is needed to do to get to her goal. She needed a human being who saw her and felt the empathy of her hurt. And that's what I do. I'm a relationship builder. I like people, you know?
Yes, it's
And
obvious. And in your hands, I want to thank you. Not like we're over, not like
yes,
we've got empires
we do.
to, I was going to say build, but I don't feel like you and I are, well, we are building empires, but I feel like we have empires to visit with our knowledge and our
Yes,
gifts.
yes,
So, and yes,
we do.
so it's been such a surprise, the journey working with you. And in this moment, I can see that it shouldn't be, because lifestyle is about everything else I do except work,
Yeah.
because that's where I went. That's where I buried my feelings, was in my work. That
Mhm.
I was workaholic. Holy cow. And then I didn't have to deal with anything else. And the people around me loved it. I was making
Yeah.
a ton of money.
Yep.
Nobody said, oh, you shouldn't work so much. Sort of in our culture, it's
Yeah.
approved of.
Chase that.
It's a great way to spend your
Chase
time.
that money. Chase that money.
Yeah.
You can rest
Yeah.
when you're dead,
Yes. And
right?
yes, but what I found in my life is I love making lots of money because
Mhm.
I love spending lots of money. I
Yes.
rarely keep the money,
Yeah.
like money flows through me.
Yes.
So, but what I've also noticed is not everybody is the same as me. And
Mhm.
so as I started looking at different clients that I was the accountant for or did taxes for, I remember, I'll tell you a story about this,
Yes.
demonstrates what I was thinking about my point. One of
Mhm.
my first tax returns I did for a married couple, young married couple, came to my office, and they were one of my first tax returns that weren't friends or family, that weren't
Yes.
just, oh, Karen can do this, Karen can do this. They were actually called me, like, going to pay the fee and everything. So they bring me their papers. We make an appointment when to come back, and I do their taxes. And they're getting a big return, a
Ooh.
refund. They're
Yeah.
getting like $35,000 back.
Wow.
And I think, wow, this is
Yes.
incredible. This is going to be so
Yes.
much fun to show them. Like, not that I had any part of it really. I just put the numbers together. So
Yeah.
I give them their return, and I just said, oh, wait till you see it. And they were so mad. They were not happy. They thought they were
Why?
getting 100,000 back. And
Oh,
so it was really a lesson in me not making assumptions, right, about what money amounts mean to people.
wow.
If you ask my child, they will tell you that one of their happiest memories were when we were broke, not
Yeah.
when I was making all that money, because we sat on the couch and hung out.
Mm.
So
Mm.
when I started working with you, I really had to separate keeping a stream of money
Yeah.
and what about this lifestyle I want to build. I don't want to just sit on the couch when I'm broke. I would love to, you know, I would love to have connection and work and life and help people really understand how to be intentional with their money and
Yeah.
create exactly what they want. And I'd like to have time to sit on the couch with my kid or walk on the beach with my dog and,
Yeah.
like
So,
really have a life, really have a balance.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my question. That was going to be my question. So where is your happy balance? Because it's not working 20 hours per day.
No, no longer. I set up, yeah, that's a good question. I haven't thought about what does it really look like in numbers, right? Like that's how we quantify everything
Yeah.
in accounting is with numbers. So I have a calendar system with working hours.
Mm-hmm.
And they're spread out through the week for people around the world to be able to find times that work with them. But for me, there's no more than 4 hours on the days I'm working. So I
Hmm.
open up shots with 4 hours. And that I don't want to do that. I want to open up 20 hours. That's what I want to do. I want to go help everybody, blah, blah, blah.
Hmm.
But really, that is all true. But there's this underlying seed in my emotional, devastated self
Hmm.
that's like, oh, that's a great way. We won't have to feel this anymore.
Yeah.
And the truth is, my balanced self leaves enough time now for walking. Very specific meditation time is
Yeah.
included in my day now. That's become a big part of my healing since I've been working with Alicia. And also, I try to call at least one friend a day, like to talk, to
It's
hear
so
a voice,
important.
not just a text. I text with many during the day,
Yes.
but just someone I haven't heard from for a minute. I don't have like 100 friends. This isn't a big
Yeah.
list. This is pretty easy to figure out who I haven't heard from this week and just reach, because my friends are really good about calling me.
Hmm.
Really, really good. And I want to be that friend. But I'll tell you the hardest part of my balance, but the biggest reason for my new balanced life is to have these times when emotions just come up.
Ah,
Right? There's enough room and space now. Even if I'm on a call, like right now, you let emotions come up, and I had a little, if there's room, and then to remember not to resist, to just be with it. It's not so bad, right? It's not what I was running from was the fear of emotions,
hmm.
not actually living through them. So my
Hmm.
balanced life has a little bit of everything. I never learned how to cook. So I've been learning, teaching, watching videos on YouTube. I was looking out there for a second to tell you something. Anyway, I'm not a great cook, but I'm learning. That's the only thing I would say I would add to my balanced life is better food.
Yeah.
But that will encourage
You
me
can
to look
buy
up
you
new
can buy better
recipes.
food and you can buy
Yeah,
better food, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so, Karen, for those of us who have big audacious dreams,
Yes,
and the fact that you are a mindset money coach that helps clients to figure out their money,
yes.
how would you suggest that a person who does not like to look at their numbers get comfortable with looking at their numbers? So, for example, that's me. I like to see the money coming in, but sometimes I don't want to have to do all the reconciliation. And yes, I've got an accountant to do that, but at the same time, it's not always fun. But when we weren't working together and you said to me, you can do this, and this in your business to make it easier, it became a lot simpler for me. And so I want you to tell people how you did that.
Sure, sure. I'd love to. I'd love to share all the secrets. Well, at least a couple. I can't get them all done today, but we'll get a couple. Maybe I can come back.
Yes.
Okay. So the first thing I'd say is, and this is where you and I started, we need a goal. We
Yes.
need a goal. It can be as simple as I want to make sure all my monthly bills are paid in full, not be late on their due date, and have an extra $500 in my pocket a week.
Yeah.
I,
Ooh,
I
yes.
didn't know. I almost said a month, but I
Yes.
don't know. I don't want to like have some people think, oh, that's too much or that's not enough. Like put your own value in there, how much you
Yes.
want in your pocket. So we need to write it down. We need to say, yes, I have this goal of making, let's see, we're in October. Oh my gosh, everyone. If you're listening to this new, there's just 2 months and a couple weeks left in this year. I'm not trying
Mhm.
to freak anybody out. It's a great time to start looking towards your bank statements if you do not have a system in place.
Yes.
So the first step is always, what's the goal? The goal when I work with people could really be, I just want to increase my income. I want this much income. We're not even going to look at expenses. We're just going to income. So the client usually comes clear about what they want. And we
Mhm.
talk, we sort it out and find the words. So I want to encourage your listeners to find enough words to write down a few of them. Write down what your goal is, or just write down a number and put down so much a week, so much a year. So just have something you're shooting towards.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to, we don't have to pick apart all the streams of income that will fill that yet.
Yeah.
We can, but we can just start with the general goal of money.
Yes.
Now, that general goal of money could also take 6 months to sort out. It just depends who you are, what you are doing, and where you want to go. So,
Yes.
where you are right now and where you want to go. So, all of that, it is so individualized.
It
But
is.
the 3-step plan is always the same. The first step is set your intention, your goal, your purpose, write down what you want to create.
Yes.
Step 2 is we're going to make the budget. Now, we can start the budget and just be talking about the goal, the intention. Like the intention doesn't have to be written down and then you go do the budget. Like these set steps really can happen organically at the same time.
Mhm.
So the budget, how I would recommend people start their budget is just start where you are.
Yes.
If you have access to a spreadsheet, use it. If you don't, just a piece of paper, write down at the top how much you make or average what you make. If it's not routine yet, if it comes in still in blocks of your work, and then write down all your expenses, your rent, your insurance, your food, your gas, everything you can. And if you are someone who really resists numbers, bank statements, all of that, it's at this moment you want to realize you could use some help. If you really aren't inspired or motivated, or you just feel stuck, it's a good time to say, hey, I need some help. I knew I could do a budget and money, but I got no lifestyle. I went to find the
Yes.
best,
Yeah.
right? So I work, sometimes I have one client who is extremely dyslexic.
Mhm.
He
Mhm.
really cannot look at numbers and have them make sense in the way
Mm.
I can look at numbers. And they're like,
Mhm.
well, there's the story on the wall. You know,
Mm.
it's a different language. It's like I did
Yes.
everything in German today. If
Mhm.
everything I did was speaking in German, it wouldn't be a very interesting podcast. And
Yes.
so I'd say if someone is really resistant to their numbers, really look and see what's going on. Is it fear? Fear
Yeah.
is something we can get through. Fear is
Mm.
absolutely. You can work with a professional, you can work with a coach, you can call your friend and just say, I'm trying to write down my numbers. Talk to me while I go through my bank statement, see how much I spent. I don't want to look at this alone.
Yes.
The other thing is, if you go and hire a bookkeeper, even to do a one time thing, I'll tell you, I was a bookkeeper for some businesses, and bookkeeping really counts the past.
Mhm.
So a bookkeeper will take what you've been doing and line it all up and show you.
Mhm.
Now, a bookkeeper is very handy to keep track of everything, but the point I want to make is most of the clients, when I was the bookkeeper, weren't interested in taking a moment to look at their numbers. They were like, okay, they're good, leave them on my desk. And I'd
Right.
leave and I'd come around once a month, I'd pick up their new stuff. I'd go back to my home office because I work 20 hours a day. And then I'd bring it back and they didn't want to talk about it. I think this is the new level entrepreneur we want to be.
Mhm.
We really do want to, even in the face of fear,
Yes.
whether we put our numbers together or someone else did for us, just pause and look and see, do they align with your intentions? If they're not, it doesn't have to be a parental lashing going on in your head.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, you spent too much money. This is a true story last week. Personally, I am way over my food budget,
Mhm.
way over. But I wouldn't have traded those meals out for anything,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Those, so it's like you have to give yourself grace. You have to, but before all of that, one needs to pause and learn how to watch where our thoughts and fears are coming up. Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
So I broke it down and I keep interrupting because I wanted to show all these parts. So we've got the purpose, we've got the budget, and we've got some sort of fear keeps coming up,
Mhm.
some sort of resistance. We want to look at the resistance. Is it truly a dysfunction of the brain that we don't even need to waste time? We're going to accept and move on, like dyslexia. That's a real thing. This guy
Mhm.
doesn't worry about it. He doesn't apologize for it. He
Yes.
hires me to put it together, and then we meet and we see where he is. Just make sure on your side, you're meeting with your bookkeeper to get the information. Because
Yeah.
what I want to say is, people spent, not everyone, many people did sit down with me, but some people were like, oh no, oh no. They were just getting ready. It's okay.
Yes.
But it's just numbers, right? It's just numbers. It doesn't mean anything about you. It's showing
Mm.
you where you are. It's a touchstone. This is where we are. Nothing is wrong. If I'm here in this house at this beachfront and decide, oh no, I'm going, let's go north. Hawaii just burnt up. I'm
Yeah.
going to Alaska beachfront.
Yeah.
Well, so I'll make a budget and I'll watch my numbers and I won't go out to eat as often, whatever. So my encouragement is to remind oneself it's just numbers. If you're having trouble sitting down,
Mhm.
get to the fear, get to the professional, get to someone who will sit with you, get to someone who knows about money mindset. That's so helpful with the fear part. And then also, once you get started, all our, I'm not going to say your, because I do too. This is not, oh, I've solved this. This is what I do. I have all the fear thoughts. I have all the, oh
Mm,
my gosh, how am I going to pay my rent? I just
mm.
blah, blah, blah. That I can do all that. I can get off track. But what we want to remember is these are just our thoughts and our
Yes.
feelings. This is not our reality. These are thoughts or feelings. I have in 1 hour thoughts and feelings that tell me to close my business and go get a job. And
Yes.
in the same hour, oh my gosh, I just got a new client. I'm going to make millions in the same hour. Which thought should I follow?
Yeah.
Who knows? It depends if I'm paying attention and even notice that I have two thoughts. That's my point is like, we want to notice, is it our truth or is
Mhm.
it just a thought and a feeling we need to process?
For me, like there's a few things that you've just said that really had my ears prick up because I love what you said about the fact that you went over budget with your food. Because what I'm hearing is you're not saying that we have to save every penny. We've got to live life. We've got to live life and
We're here.
we're here.
Yeah, we're not taking it with us.
No,
We are not taking it with us.
exactly. So we need to
Yes.
enjoy life, but we still need to know what we're paying out and we need to look at our money daily or whenever you
Or
can
weekly or
or
monthly.
weekly.
Like, I
Mhm.
recommend set it up what works for you and then keep it in your calendar. And
Yes.
if you notice you're not keeping that appointment with someone, I mean, with yourself, invite someone to hold you
Yes.
accountable, whether
Yes.
it's a coach or a friend. Yes, go
Yes.
on. I apologize. I just
No,
wanted to
no, no, no,
offer,
no, no,
like,
no.
it doesn't
Don't.
have to be, thank you. It doesn't have to be every day. Like,
Mhm,
but so what I love sometime in the morning looking what cleared my account,
mhm.
I find mistakes. Big banks still make mistakes.
Yes.
Stuff goes through my account that's not mine. Not often, but at least once a quarter. Or I find a membership I didn't know.
Okay.
Those memberships are
Exactly.
so, I want to just have a moment if we have time. Watch, watch, watch. Those memberships are almost, I don't want to use the word scam for memberships because all memberships are not scams. But the way we forget about, oh, I bought that membership. And if we are not looking at our bank status or our bank statement, we're going to forget that I bought $100 QuickBooks membership and I'm not even using it, you know?
Yikes. Yeah. And the
Yeah.
thing is, I think we do that quite often because I do that a lot. I forget. And whilst you said that, I've just remembered that I've got a year membership coming up that I haven't used properly for a year. So thank you, Karen. I need to go and cancel that
Yes.
ASAP so that
Yes.
they don't charge me for the year again. So thank
Yes.
you. But also, what I heard you saying is the thought process, because I know for a fact that I can be in a spin about money sometimes, especially as I was working around my daughter and we've got summer holidays and so forth. So I stopped working in the summer. You know, I was
Yes.
lucky enough that I had a nice amount of money go through my account at the beginning of summer and I was able to really take my foot off the gas. Okay. But now she's at school and she's enjoying life. And because of the way my business worked around her, it now means that I've got more time.
Right.
And so I want to be using some of that time to build the business, to have more clients. And so there's that self sabotage that comes in about money as well. Oh, should I be trying to make more money? Who do I think I am? It's all of those kind of
Oh, yeah.
questions that can really play havoc in your mindset when you think about, oh, you hear people say this quite often. I want to make 10 grand a month or I want to make 100 grand. And then they talk themselves out of it because they don't think they're worthy. And for me, that's mindset. That is definitely
Oh,
mindset.
definitely. And worth, self-worth, I think is at the core of, well, where our society is right now. Not
Mhm.
each individual person, but
Yes.
I think with everything the last few years have brought,
Mhm.
we could all agree that one thing it's brought is those who can find the ability to pivot, the ability to
Yes.
make a change and let go of what we were doing and make this change and let go and make this change and let go. It's the
Hmm.
let go, I think, where we can also get
Yeah.
stuck. But that self worth and self destruction,
Hmm.
they're like smoke through our day, right? We don't really see it. Once in a while, we can smell it. Like sometimes I hear
Yes.
myself say something, I think, I don't even think that way. Like, so I know there's all of me here, but building on our self worth is what is going to happen as you start valuing yourself with money.
Yes.
And it never is true that how much money I have is my value. That is
Hmm.
never true. But how much money I have in how I can care for myself and help other people
Hmm.
is very valuable to me.
Hmm.
It's money is so much fun to have. Oh my God. And there's all these background things we find in literature, in news articles, late night comedy television, everywhere. Money is the root of all evil.
Hmm.
Money is tempting.
Yes.
People will make bad, 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 bad decisions. All of us had for more money.
Hmm. Hmm.
But the next thing to do is think, why do I need more money? Do I have an intention written down? Do I have a budget?
Yes.
So when the fears come up, all we do is go back to our budget and say, where are we? And we just pull up right now. And if your life doesn't have time to do that, or the system to do that, or you want to learn how to do that, I teach how to do that.
Hmm.
There's lots of people who teach how to do this. So it's just a quick system. And then that's when we really can start observing our fear, our patterns, our self sabotage. I don't think I've had a client really see a self sabotage person until they're paying attention a little bit. So, right now, can I tell a little story
Of
on you,
course.
Alicia?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I helped Alicia set up QuickBooks, which is one of the services I offer. And we had a blast.
Hmm.
Like, we talked about so much philosophy about money and tracking and taxes and how entrepreneurs can set up to save on their taxes. It was amazing. And we did it over a few days. And then I asked Alicia if she'd like another appointment. And she said, let me just catch up this month and then we'll see. And it's fine with me. I don't, but I didn't hear anything. And I know it's so easy to put off the numbers, right?
Yes.
It's just so easy. It's a little bit boring if you're not like me. Like for me, numbers are just a puzzle. They're the puzzle my brain gets
Yes.
super excited about. So now I know I'm not going to teach you how to be that person. I'm going to teach you how to run through your numbers really quick, how to keep it up if you want to keep it up,
Hmm.
how to hire someone if you want to hire someone to keep it up. And then, really, the point is, what do the numbers mean? I would ideally like you to spend no more than 15 minutes a month doing your bookkeeping, maybe a half an hour, just depends how much you're spending.
Hmm.
But say plan a half an hour, but it shouldn't take more than that with what we set up. But for some reason, just say,
So I
are you caught up? Are you caught up?
halfway. So,
Okay.
okay. So
So what's
I
stopping you? So what's
so
stopping you?
and I love that we're going here, right?
I
because
do too. We didn't plan
because
it.
we didn't plan it, but also I think it's really key. And I just want to say this for the listeners. So when Karen and I were on a break, that's when I worked with Karen because I don't like having a conflict of interest when
No, no. Yeah.
so when
Conflict coaching. No, no, no.
conflict coaching is not my thing, but I know she's magical with numbers. I've seen her work. We've collaborated. I know this woman is magical with numbers to the
Thank
point
you.
where she has helped me, really helped me with some mindset gunk around numbers because I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you and I am female, I am a Black woman in business, and sometimes I don't always feel deserving because that's how society has made me feel previously. But now I'm stepping into my whole power and I know that I am 100% deserving of all of the cash that comes my way. And you've helped me believe that. But I've also put myself into different places where I'm getting help with regards to believing and seeing
Yes.
people who look like me make top dollar. And for that, that's really important for me to be able to see that so that I can mirror that
Yes.
and really integrate that into my body as well. So Karen and I worked together, like she said, and we updated the QuickBooks, and I loved it. The reason why I fell down was because one, summer holidays came
Yes.
and I was looking after Alessandra. But secondly, and I did not know I was going to say this, secondly, I got very scared about my numbers again because I basically said no to a six-figure contract because we weren't aligned. Me and the company were not aligned in our thinking, and I needed to preserve my integrity. And I walked away from that contract. Wow, I said it out loud.
It's real. It's
It's
real.
real. And so when I did that, Karen, I shrunk again
Okay. I hear you.
because I really felt like, wow, Alicia, you have just walked away from six figures. And now you're going to look at your bank account and look at your numbers and see how much operational costs that you've spent, how many, how much money has gone through your bank account, personal and business. And you're going to start resenting your choice. And you're going to start feeling like you should have just taken the money. It was you and another coach who said to me, but what you did was one of the biggest things you could do for yourself because you're walking away with your head held high and your integrity. And I needed to hear that, but I was still scared to look at my own money because I had put in a lot of time and effort into putting myself
Getting
out
that
there,
business and getting that business.
right?
That six figures. Yeah. You were very invested in that
I was
account
so invested,
until the veil was pulled and you would see how you would be spending your time.
right?
Yeah. I want to say this is called to me. It's funny what our minds do. My mind does the same thing here. You made this decision to not work with this particular situation, I'll call it,
Hmm.
out of integrity to your own values and alignment. There's
Hmm.
no judgment on that person. There's
No.
no nothing. I just can see this isn't in alignment with me. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to say no. That's who you were being. That's what you said. But none of it felt. I will say, I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist. I wish I was sometimes, but I would say good self esteem is the person who said no, not the person with the feelings afterwards. And it happens to me too. My feelings don't reflect, oh, good decision. It's
Yes.
like, oh, now you're broke. Now, oh, what are we going to do? You let everybody down. But Alicia, you've just shared with us the difference between good self esteem and what our mindset can do to sabotage us
Hmm.
right now. So let's play this forward. I know you didn't get stuck there, but for someone who gets stuck there,
Hmm.
now she's in her, and sometimes that's me, so I'm not higher than anybody.
Hmm.
Now she's in her low place again of low self esteem, which
Yes.
is where I grew up. Don't even look up, just be busy, take care of things, nothing bad's going to happen. Whatever my looking down is about. That's what, when you shared your feelings, that's what I felt like. That felt like low self esteem, but really it came out of a high self esteem moment. I think we all need each other to witness
Yes.
what's real because
Hmm.
sometimes our feelings are not accurate, right? Like
Yeah.
just not accurate.
I needed to grieve. Okay.
Yes.
I needed to grieve that moment because I knew what I was doing was right. But
Yeah.
I also knew that my bank account would have been very happy with that amount hitting it. And
Yes.
so I needed grieving time. And then I came out of the grieving time, and some amazing opportunities have opened up. And I'm very excited about that because I wouldn't have had the space or the energy to be able
Exactly.
to
And are these new opportunities in alignment with your
100%,
purpose? Yeah.
100%.
So I love that you're bringing us this part of the story too. Beautiful.
But now I'm
Well
also,
managed. Well managed.
yeah.
So now let the world know, Alicia H. When are you going to catch your QuickBooks up? And
Oh,
believe me, it does. Nothing happens bad in the world if you don't go look at your bookkeeping for 6 months. You're going to be okay. I mean,
but I
the
will,
world doesn't end.
but I will say
Okay.
this. I will say this, and I love that you've just switched my techniques onto me. I'm being coached here, and I'm being held accountable here. But I have a date with myself this Friday to complete them. So,
All
and
right.
that is
Best wishes.
that
Best wishes. Yeah.
that will happen. But I also wanted to say that when we set up QuickBooks, it was really, really key for me because I could see my profit and loss.
Oh,
I
I love QuickBooks. Oh, I'm glad you circled a little bit to QuickBooks.
yeah.
I've worked with QuickBooks since 1990
Mhm,
in every updated version. And it depends on what your business is and
mhm.
how much detail you want. But it's pretty easy to set up, especially with someone who knows just click, 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 do this, do this. And then it memorizes your transactions. And it's
Exactly.
so easy for the entrepreneur to use
Yes.
themselves. It's a wonderful program. And the graphs, it just like you
So
balance your bank statement and there's your graphs and your
yeah,
forecast for your cash flow
that's it.
forecast is right there. It's all right there.
That's what I wanted to say. So it really helped me to look at my profit and my loss and where I made the most money in my business. And it really drove me forward. And now I'm ready to get back into that driving seat and forecast and do my forecasts and so forth. But I needed that time to grieve. And now
Well,
I'm
absolutely.
back.
Grief is such an important part of living and being present. Every day we lose something. Every time I adjust something, I've lost the old version of it. The most important thing I've found in working with Alicia is as my identity changes. So this is back with the low self-esteem, right? So as my esteem becomes, I don't know if I want to say higher, Laura. Well, let's say higher, better. I just want to say more balanced. When I am fully accepting and loving who I am,
Hmm.
which is pretty much I am or I'm not. There are versions of it, but I am
Yeah.
or I'm not. And when I'm not, to just let that be, that is the opening for grief. Alicia has taught me how to grieve by saying, it's okay.
Mhm.
Leave time, leave space. Don't book appointments this week. Make yourself sandwiches for 3 days and lay on the couch. Like whatever you need. Or go walk for 3 days and then call a taxi to bring you back. Whatever you need, Karen, get it done. And there's been a lot of loss for me and with so many of us in the past few
Yes.
years. And we just have permission to not be okay for a bit today or the
Yes.
whole day is so helpful. So thank you for reminding us that grief is a part of life and a healthy, healthy part.
It is.
And then more of my lifestyle shows up with Alicia.
Yes.
It's the opportunity for all my emotions to connect and
Yes.
be together with my thoughts. And that's when my power shows up and
Yes.
I'm able to be of service to all.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about your power,
All right.
because it's really important and it is a powerful power of being able to manifest money. And tell us about your offers
Oh,
so that we know how we can work with you.
Oh, thank you. I thought you were going to ask me to tell people how to manifest money. And I was like,
Oh,
okay,
oh,
let
that
me think.
too.
Let me think. What will I say? Okay, when I come back, I'll have an answer for that. I'm glad you
Yes.
didn't ask me that. It's just a bigger question. That's all. There probably is an answer. No, I will. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share about my programs. Yes. So I have on my website right now 3 programs. The first is Budget Builder. And
Yes.
so it's really the part of the program where we do the intention and the budget. So we have 3 appointments, 50-minute virtual appointments, and you get to pick. Do you want to build the budget? Do you want me to build the budget, or do you want us to sit together and build it? We
I
still
love
get to
that.
sit together for 3 hours. It just
Mhm.
changes. The client gets to pick
Love
where they
that.
want to be involved because not all people want to be involved
Yes.
in the building. And so if you're interested in a budget or seeing where you are, how your spending has been going, that is in the budget too. We look at the past few months of your bank statements if we do it for you
Mhm.
and we put it together, or we show you how to do that. So I have, in addition to the fabulous budget builder program, I have a program that is more mastermind intended. And
Love
it's
it.
a thank you. It's a 6-month long commitment. And we meet one-on-one for 6 months, once a month, to have the accountability part to keep up your bookkeeping.
Mhm.
So to that appointment, one-on-one, you can wait all month and we'll do it together, or you just have done everything you can and we have questions and answers and forecasts, whatever. We really have one appointment once a month to just scour your numbers. Let's look and see what happens. And then we start playing with what if we
Yes.
change this number? What
Mhm.
happens? What would you do? What if we put what if we sold packaged this and sold this? And we
Yes.
just have some fun exploring numbers. So during the 6-month mastermind program, we meet one-on-one once a month to do your numbers. We also meet one-on-one once a month to explore where your mindset is and how
Yes.
it's growing. So I started this program called Take 10 with Karen Noel, and they're 10-minute guided visualizations.
Yes.
And so I have a number of topics. And so, say you're just really tired today
Mhm.
and that's it. You've got one word and it's tired. This visualization will help you work through that, not to get rid of it, just to be with yourself.
Yeah.
I think with money manifesting, it's so important. The work is really about being still with yourself and your numbers.
Yeah.
And so the pieces of the program that I've written around the mindset work also are included in the budget builder program. So there is a self-paced money mindset course that's yours for life in that program also. Mindset is the key to being a successful human. Noticing what we're thinking and feeling in a moment, noticing that I've chosen to distract myself
Ooh.
and then not criticize myself.
Mm.
Just notice, oh, here I am distracting. Okay, let me turn back. Or no, I'm going to stay here another day distracted. Like, really, that's the grace and love and joy and is that's found in that choice. Just looking where we are. So that's a little description, hopefully, of the mindset work. And
Yeah.
that comes up by we set assignments. For example, you're going to meet yourself on Friday to do your
Yes.
bookkeeping. If that doesn't show up, you'd want to look and see what stopped me.
Hmm.
So, how we learn about our mindset and what we're doing as our patterns with
Hmm.
money is we set a few goals. And
Yeah.
so, one goal is I'm going to do this on Friday. And if you don't do it on Friday, that's the learning moment. What's the,
Hmm.
what? And just the explore.
Yes.
So those are my two programs. And then I have a VIP program, which is let me know what you need and we're going to create it for you.
Love it. Love it. Karen, you're such a joy.
I can't thank you enough for this opportunity to share what's possible, to maybe help a few entrepreneurs get kicked off on their own budget today, or
Yeah.
maybe someone out there will really write down their intention and
Yeah.
will get back to us. We'll email you and let you know
Yeah.
what happened. We'd love to know results of your
Yes.
intentions because once we get really serious, connect with the universe, God, angels, all the good stuff. I'm talking about positive out
Yeah.
there, whatever words you use. And then we let go and do the footwork. It's so magical. So thank you for allowing me to maybe help an entrepreneur who is struggling, thinking about money and how they're going to move forward today. It's such a joy.
Yeah. It's such a pleasure because I know how magical you are. I've seen how invested you are in your business and in yourself, and how invested you are in building these programs. And so I know what's included in these programs because we've worked on building them
We
and
have.
they are amazing. And so,
They are amazing. If I can shout it out, if you're struggling with money,
yes,
there's some help. There's some help here.
it
And just
certainly,
shoot me a question.
yeah.
Just shoot me a question on the website. I'd love to engage.
Yes, exactly. I think whilst you were speaking, and we spoke a lot, we've got a lot to say about this subject. I think it may be a good idea that we do something quarterly where we can maybe have the listeners send in their questions and we can sit down and have a conversation about the
That'd be
questions.
great. That'd be
Yeah.
great. Maybe even take a live phone call.
Yeah. Oh,
Who knows? Oh, don't get too excited. We'll see. No, thank
love
you.
that. Yeah.
What a wonderful opportunity. It would be my
Yes.
thrill to
Yes.
inspire people quarterly. This will be great. I look forward to it. Thank
Brilliant.
you.
Thank you so much, Karen. And thank you, listeners and viewers. Thank you so much for being with us today. I really hope that this conversation inspired you to go and figure out your money. But also, I want to say thank you so much, Karen, for sharing with everybody who listens and watches this episode, sharing your journey of working with me. I am super, super honored to have you as a client. And I am super excited to see where else we go with your programs and your business, because I know this is not it. we've got so much more work to do together.
We've got work to do. I've got numbers to add. I don't know what you're doing today, but I'm adding numbers.
I love it. I love it. Okay, listeners, thank you again for joining us on my virtual couch. I look forward to speaking to you again next week. But as Karen said, go check out her offers and also send her a DM, send her a message. She is open to receiving your questions. Okay, speak to you next week. Take
Bye.
care.